This week on Let's Talk Schools, find out about the district's plans for our new K-8 program. Yolanda Bell, the Executive Director of Academic Programming, will be my guest. Hello, welcome to another session of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the host. Today we're going to be talking about something very exciting in Fulton County Schools, a project that we've been working on for a good while with our school board member, and that is our board members, and that's K-8 schools. And I have the good fortune of having our local expert. Yolanda Bell is the Executive Director of Academic Programming. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Looney. I'm glad to be here.
And Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to our viewing audience. Did you have a good holiday?
I did. How about you?
Very, very good holiday. Well, let's talk about K-8 schools. Talk to us a little bit about why we're thinking about K-8 schools and the latest news that we have as it relates to our first K-8 school in Fulton County.
So what I love about Fulton County schools is that we have a diverse portfolio of schools. So having a K-8 school in this district is just going to add to that portfolio. So a K-8 school is exactly like it sounds, it's K-8, but I want to make sure to emphasize that it's not about combining an elementary and a middle school. It's about being very intentional about having a seamless transition between elementary and middle, K through 8. So we have, like you said, been working on it for a couple years now, and I'm excited to bring the opportunity of a K-8 school to the Palmetto community.
And it's not just going to be a K-8, as I understand it. It's going to be a K-8 STEAM school.
Correct.
And so talk to us about what STEAM stands for in the educational arena.
So we just have such a great opportunity to lead with a STEAM theme. We have phenomenal fine arts programs in this district, as you know. And then we have a really intentional focus on expanding our career, technical, and agricultural education programs too, CTAE. So think about the possibilities of combining and really being intentional about integrating your fine arts, your CTAE with your academics. So really having an opportunity for students to learn content as well as do hands-on and authentic learning.
Absolutely. I learned a long time ago, early in my education career, that learning that's relevant for students, learning that students can apply what they've learned is a real meaningful and exciting way for kids to retain information.
It is.
And it seems to me like STEAM, working with the fine arts and working with the engineering and arts and mathematics, all that kind of combined into one experience is going to be very, very powerful for our students. And I know the Palmetto community is very excited. I know we selected Palmetto in part because the community said, yes, let us be the first.
Correct. So I believe over the past couple years, we've done over 25 to 30 engagements across the district about K-8. We've really been on the road talking about the benefits and even some of the obstacles that come with a K-8 school, just being very clear and transparent with the community. So when we went to the Palmetto community with this idea, they were just very enthusiastic. So that's why we chose to do it within that community.
And that community is growing.
Yes.
There's a lot of plans there for new development and that sort of thing.
It is.
And the elementary school, which is there currently, used to be a high school, so some of the infrastructure is already in place.
We just have a great opportunity to do that right now in the community with our current SPLOST.
Absolutely. So when are we going to, it's exciting to have made the decision. Our board stepped up to the plate and said Palmetto is going to be the first K-8 in Fulton County schools. So when are we going to turn the key and open the door for students in the K-8 program?
You and I are probably ready to do it right now.
Yes, yesterday.
But we're both not construction people, so it is going to take a little while. So the earliest we would be able to turn that key would be August 2025.
Awesome. I just can't wait for the day. I know I have experienced K-8s in my previous leadership experiences in public schools, and there's just something about the continuity of a student starting kindergarten and finishing all the way through the 8th grade in the same building with the same teacher corps, with the same building administrators, lunchroom staff, the whole 9 yards. You just, it feels more family and more community centric than perhaps when you have to change several schools along the way.
It does. You know, transitions are hard, right? Even being an adult, transitioning into a new job or a new community, that can be hard. So if we could eliminate that for our students and be able to provide them with a K-8 opportunity where we eliminate transition. They know who to go to for what. Parents know who to go to for what. It just does lend itself to a more community atmosphere. I think about our parents, right? A lot of times, in some instances, when it comes to the middle school age, parents step away a little bit from engagement with the schools. Sometimes it's because their own students want them to step away.
Right, right.
But in this opportunity, they might not do that because they're familiar with the school. They're familiar with their administrators. They're familiar with the teachers. So it's just such a great opportunity to have more family engagement within our schools.
Now, this is not a concept that you and I just sat around and said, let's experiment,
Right.
let's try something new. This is actually rooted in research. It's been proven to be effective. Talk to us a little bit about the academic outcomes, the social, emotional outcomes that we have seen through research that
Right.
works in K-8 buildings.
So every time we went into the community, my first question that I asked them was, raise your hand if you went to a K-8. And I would say at least half the people in those rooms raised their hands. So K-8, K-7, these are not new concepts.
Right.
We are sometimes bad in education about bringing things back, but we have an opportunity now with our capital plan to do this K-8. So there are a lot of significant student outcomes. So as we said earlier, with having that relevant experience, that can lead to higher academic achievement, especially when it comes to math. The research says that K-8 schools have higher math scores and higher math achievement than our traditional schools. And again, when students don't have to have that barrier of thinking about transition, it just makes their school experience a little bit less intimidating. And so that lends itself to having some less bullying, less issues happening within the school, because they know where to go. They know the culture, the climate of the school.
Absolutely. I was actually very surprised at the reduction in discipline referrals that are associated with K-8s versus traditional elementary and middle schools. And I think it's because of those long-term relationships that are established and supports are in place.
It's also because a K-8 school will lend itself to the elementary students seeing the middle school students as mentor, and then the middle school students being mentors to the younger students. So middle schoolers are going to want to show up. They're going to want to be on their best behavior because they know that their little brothers and sisters or even other people within the school are looking to them in those leadership roles to be mentors. So that's one of the things that I'm really excited about. That's one of the things that came out of the community was this is such a great opportunity for leadership development and opportunities for our students.
We pride ourselves in having community schools. I know, so I don't want to act ignorant, but I know that a K-8, what happens is the circumference around a school building shrinks because you're serving more students in a smaller area because it's K-8.
Yes.
And so it really becomes a little bit more tightly knit
It does.
as a community school.
Yes.
And I know that our families are going to really value that. I also know that there are some concerns. Not everybody's really excited. Not everybody's excited as we are, obviously. Right. And I know one of the concerns that people have shared is, I'm worried about my kindergartner being around a 7th grader
Right.
or an 8th grader. But we're not just going to let that happen just indiscriminately in our schools.
Not at all. So this summer was really exciting. We had a meeting with a lot of our school administrators, parents, teachers, district staff. It was about 25 to 30 people. It was a very intentional group. And we sat down and said, what does a Fulton County School STEAM K-8 look like? And so we even did some design schematics to think through, like, what would the building look like? How do students move through the building? And yes, a kindergarten class is not necessarily going to be next to a 5th grade class. But one of the things that came up was that we want to make sure that all the things that we're doing with safety and security right now are going to be a part of this school. And that's going to be an intentional focus of the school to make sure that just like all of our buildings will be safe and secure.
I would imagine it also provides opportunities for students to go up and even down in some cases. Like if they need, if they're in the 6th grade and they need a higher level English class, or
Right.
they could very well go to a 7th or 8th grade English class rather than being stuck in a grade that they otherwise typically wouldn't be able to get into from 5th to 6th. Or even if you're behind in mathematics, you might be able to go down to, if you're 6th grade, you might go down to a 5th grade class and get some additional supports.
And those conversations around how to increase student academic achievement in a K-8 school just lends itself to happening a little bit faster because you'll have that 3rd grade teacher and that 6th grade teacher in the same building. You'll have all of your teachers having these conversations around similar students. So yes, we have a continuous achievement model that will still be in place at our K-8 schools. All the services that we provide students, like students with special needs, all those things will still be a part of this school.
Right, and another concern that came up was, you know, I am worried that a K-8 school will not provide the same complement of course offerings that a typical middle school does. Can you speak to that?
And yes, I can understand that concern, but it will have the same complementary courses, our academic courses, our fine arts, our CTAE. We have an opportunity to bring that CTAE to the school in an elementary focus. So yes, we'll have similar programs as we do at our traditional schools.
So we're working through the construction design process right now. We're going to be modifying the building, upgrading the building, and making sure that the building is suitable for serving kindergarten students all the way through 8th grade, making sure that we can serve students in career technical education pathways. So really hands-on learning at its finest at Palmetto. Is it going to remain Palmetto Elementary School, or talk to me about the naming of this new school?
So we do have a naming process as part of our board policy, so that will be part of the process. And I would also just like to point out that we have a plan for really thinking and being intentional about the spaces that are at this school. So right now they're called design specifications, right? We have one for elementary, middle, and high. They're public, but what we don't have one is for a K-8. So that's really the work right now. We don't want to combine an elementary and a middle and just put that together. We want to be very intentional about building a K-8 design specification. And so my department in academics as well as operations is working on that right now.
I'm just so excited. It sounds like good things are happening with our first K-8 design school in Fulton County. Is there anything else that you think it's important for us to share as we talk about this new development in the K-8 front?
So I think, to me, this is going to be an exemplary model, right? We'll build this K-8, people will be able to see it, people will be able to feel that positive climate and culture. They'll be able to see the intentional collaboration across grade bands as well as across programming. So they'll be able to see the collaboration similar to what we're doing with our STEM schools around academics, career technology, and also fine arts. So it's just going to be an exemplary project, and I'm really excited about it.
I agree. I have a prediction. This K-8 school is going to work so well. People are going to be excited about it, and communities are going to be just me.
Yes.
How do we get one? How do we get one? And of course, that's going to be the challenge moving forward. And we have some opportunities because our enrollment continues to shift. We have a lot of buildings that are not fully utilized. So if communities buy into this concept and they see, based on the data and the customer satisfaction surveys that we'll be doing, that this is a good fit for them, then I think the future is bright for K-8s in Fulton County schools.
I like that prediction, and I'm excited too.
Yeah. Well, once again, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you so much for turning in to another session of Let's Talk Schools. K-8 schools are the latest frontier here in Fulton County schools, and it's an exciting time. Thank you for watching. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools. Thanks for watching.